And so her and I met this week, yesterday, in fact, and she gave me this, she took me through the meaning of all of the interior development, the materials, what's used, the reason for the water, the things on the wall.
Yeah, Peter's amazing. Shout out to
Oh, you know Peter?
Yeah,
Peter's
that's my girl.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing,
yes,
amazing, amazing.
We had a great time at the opening.
Absolutely. So I wish Dave and I wish Sting and I
Yes.
wish the family at La Chai best of luck. I will be there sometime this weekend to get my drunken noodles.
Right.
I guarantee you.
And the Thai shrimp salad.
I don't eat. I'm allergic to shellfish.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish. But it looks good. It looks good. Kai, where did Kai go? We don't have Jason. Jason is away doing honor humanity work. Shout to Jay. But we have Kai here. Kai, what happened? What's going on?
I'm trying to figure the sounds out again. I have Jason's microphones and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh, do we got the Dollar Tree joint?
Yeah, we got this. No,
he
actually has the good ones, and it's not. The light is flashing. Yours is flashing. Hers is not. Again, I charged them all up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get started, and then I'll just switch. We can switch the mics out. Sure.
Yeah, we can switch the mics out. So
Style Quest is asking about the sneaker wars. I'm gonna retreat to
that. Look.
You won.
Style Quest, I won for this one. I just want to say though, for the last few weeks, it's been like an attrition. So we normally have sneaker wars, and for the first few weeks, it was all three of us, and we was battling. And lately, over the last few weeks, it's like one person is not battling, or when we had Cootie felt like he won, right? So it's been a whole thing.
Wait, who's judging?
You're the judge.
Ah.
The guest is the judge.
Ah, lovely.
The guest is the judge.
Okay, well we can pull that out for sure.
The guest is always the judge. Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I mean, Kai's not playing today, so it's just me.
Why you say she's not playing? She has some nice kicks on.
Because she said it.
Those are gold though. We're like matching.
Yeah, I think you got to be in.
Yeah, come on now.
I think you got to be in.
Come on now.
So we're gonna get started.
Yeah, get started.
Normally,
I'll fix the sound, guys.
How we sound? How they saying we sound?
Yeah,
they're
thumbs
not
up.
saying anything right now.
Okay. So normally, I would start and I would pontificate over how I knew a person, right? And I like to give stories and I like to give perspective, right? And it's sort of like the bigger issue meets the smaller issue, and this is how I know this person. This is what that person means to the world. I can't do that this episode, right?
We have a little,
because we are just getting to know one another.
Yeah.
We've been in one another's presence, but we haven't really had real conversation or real connection.
Yes.
But there is a silver lining in that, because I get an opportunity, excuse me, allergy season is crazy right now. I get an opportunity to meet you and to connect with you at the same time that our viewers get an opportunity to meet and connect with you. So I love that.
Yes.
And we've been having fun. We've been sipping some sparkling rosé.
Absolutely. Salud.
Salud. I'd like to introduce to some and present to others Kimberly Gray.
Hey guys. I worked in the fashion industry as a stylist for many, many years. Then to fashion tech, and now with my own company, with helping us all communicate better through branding and technology. So it's been a full circle.
How you feel today?
I'm feeling good. You know, like as soon as I walked in here, it just reminded me of every costume house I've ever been to, every showroom. And it's just like,
it's
wow,
really
it's just bringing it all back. It's legit a hip-hop closet, guys. I don't know if you've ever had a tour here, but there's just racks and racks of clothes everywhere.
I figured it out.
What was it?
I have to take my case off.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Not the case.
Okay, guys.
That's fine. The people don't understand.
Right. It's not a whole bunch of people here. Just bear with me one second while I fix this sound for you guys. Please. Sorry. Pause because you weren't using the app. Yes. Hold on, guys. Sorry. This is like so crazy.
Who wasn't? What you mean he wasn't using that? That was. Oh, that's what the thing
told. That's what it said on the thing. Okay. Sorry, this is so chaotic, guys.
It's fine.
We're good.
We're perfectly good.
I'm trying to get the sound good for y'all.
My daughter has
Here
a
we
habit
go.
of saying sorry, and I've been telling her, like, you ain't got to say sorry all the time. Like, sometimes it just is what it is. You don't have to.
Now the sound
You know
is better.
We up?
Yep,
Okay.
we're good.
All right, so this is where I want to start with you. I want to know all about you. Where were you born? Where you from?
So I was born in Washington, D.C.
What part of D.C.?
I was born in D.C. I grew up in PG County.
Where in PG?
So, Fort Washington.
Oh, you grew up in Fort Washington.
So legit right beside the National Harbor where the MGM Grand. So for those that don't know, Prince George's County is...
They said now is no sound.
No!
Oh, God, what's going on?
Gosh.
I'ma just drink.
All right, Charles. We gonna get it together.
I'ma just drink. We'll figure it out.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Look, Kia put an ear up. She was like, okay, my bad. Check
Not
the
an
switch.
ear, not an ear.
Okay. All
Good?
right, we good. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
So you're from Fort Washington?
Yes, right outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yes. So for those that don't know, PG County is like all black suburb. Both my parents are retired principals, DC public schools. Right. So to be honest, before may sound kind of crazy, before I was like 18, I thought like only like black people drove Lexuses. Like seriously, like that's how it was just like a black upper middle class community. Right. So coming to New York, and then I went to Howard. For a time. But I told my parents, I was like, look, I want to be a fashion editor of a hip hop magazine. And they say, you're crazy. And I said, we'll see. And by 21, I was a fashion editor for 2 hip hop magazines. The first was Stress magazine. We were the first ones to put Jay-Z on the cover, Eminem. My first shoot was with The Roots.
We're going to get to all of that. I don't want you to speed. Ahead. Yeah, don't speed. Don't speed. Be good. We're going to sit in this space for a minute because...
So that's what happened.
So for me, going to Morgan and living... So I lived in PG. I lived in Silver Springs. I lived in Hyattsville. When I got married, I moved to Montgomery County, so I lived in Clarksburg. But back up in the early 90s when I first was introduced to PG County was probably like Mitchellville... Fort Washington, Bowie. These were places where it was upper middle class and lightly wealthy black folk. And I think at one point, PG County was, I believe, the richest black community in America.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you grew up there, and it's like, it's houses, it's kids biking on the street, it's single family dwellings, it's Giant, shopping at the Giant, or Wegmans now, right? What type of child were you?
I was kind of an only child because I was the only child from my parents' marriage, even though they've been married, for like 50 years. And it was a little lonely. My brother moved out, my half-brother, when I was 7. He went to West Point. So, I always wanted to be in the city, like every other kid from the suburbs. So I really gravitated toward like Rap City and hip hop. My first job was for a department store, and I'm really going back and dating myself. But Woodworth and Lothrop, it was called Woody's. It was like downtown, right across from, not Madness Shop, but what's the other one? The one Big Tigger used to work there.
Right.
Or like
it's
his
called,
girlfriend or something.
Oh, I forgot the name of it. But shout to Madness though. Shout to Madness. Madness
all
is classic.
That. We had our own, style.
Were you in the go-go?
Of course. Oh my gosh.
Who's your favorite go-go band?
Oh, Backyard all day.
I was trying to get Backyard to come up here.
Backyard.
I was trying to get Backyard to come up here this summer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was trying to get them to come up on June 8th. They can't. They have a vicinity clause. The day I want them to come up, they're doing a festival, like maybe 100 miles from here, and they're not allowed to perform. It's a vicinity clause.
Oh, man.
Right? So they can't come to Brooklyn. I really wanted Backyard.
Now, that would be so crazy.
I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get it done before the end of the summer.
Like, can we work on that together?
I'm going to work. Yeah, let's
do a
work on
survey
that.
On the app.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
let's work on that.
I would love that for sure.
So in the go-go, in the hip-hop, in the fashion?
Absolutely in the fashion. But real quick on the go-go, we had a crew. Our crew was the John Gotti Honeys.
The John.
See,
that's why I wanted you to slow down. You see now? That's why. Tell me about the John Gotti Honeys.
Oh my gosh. So just me and some other girls from Oxon Hill High School.
Oxon Hill? You went to Oxon Hill?
Went to my high school. Like, a couple folks came out of
Indian Head Highway.
Right off of Indian Head Highway.
I know. I'm trying to tell you, I'm from out there. I'm from the area. So this was what she was like a dance crew, or you guys were like go-go?
Well, you just like get shouted. Like everybody had to have like a really extravagant name when you had like your go-go crew, like Scumbag Millionaires,
right?
or like stuff like that. Like Lisa of the World, like she was a backup dancer. She'd be like a Go-Go Live, but you had to have a crew. But you just had a crew, so you get shouted out on the mixtapes because and it was like under 18, this was like high school days. But yeah, go-go's, man, cabarets in general, that's like a special.
Remember the Icebox?
Icebox, that was in Southeast?
That was in Southeast.
Yeah.
I went to Icebox, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I don't think I made the Icebox.
I thought I was going to die that night. No Brooklyn dude should ever have been in Icebox. But like I want to connect with you on the go-go thing because go-go is such a nuanced and very it's a very close-knit group. Like people outside of DC, unless you have been in the DC culture.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is even because like I told you, I've lived in Maryland, I lived in DC, and there's two cultures. There's the transplant culture in Maryland. So for example, Maryland and DC has a lot of colleges. So a lot of kids from all over the nation go to these colleges, and some of them happen to stay in the DMV area. And they build a life for themselves. They work and everything. That's the transplant culture. But then you have the DC culture.
Let's talk about
it. And that's changed. Like I've watched it. Like so, for example, H Street, Trinidad. You know what I'm talking about when I say Trinidad?
I have a friend that's like, "Hey Richard, what's up?"
So I remember even in 2009. When we was talking about my book, that's how me and Leroy. Shout out to Leroy. I didn't say Leroy was in the building. Leroy
in the building.
So
New Yorker of the Week.
Absolutely.
And the Wall Street Journal.
Multiple weeks, not just a week. Yeah.
I think the whole year was it.
Yeah, I think he's one of them guys.
We'll come back to that.
But Rose's Dream on A Street was straight DC.
Yep.
You go to A Street now, and it's completely gentrified. So what I want to ask you is, as someone who comes out of that culture, what do you think the DMV has lost with regards to how gentrification and redevelopment kind of push out authentic DC? Right. I'm interested in hearing what you think.
Well, one, it very much mirrors what's happening in Brooklyn, right? People were like, we don't want to live in the suburbs anymore. We want to get back to the city.
Right.
I mean, it's sad in that it's not Chocolate City anymore. And a lot of the Chocolate City is now the PG County, the suburbs, which is, made that situation a little bit different. But, it's unfortunate, but it's also safer, right? But what bothers me is when they started passing the legislation to stop the go-go's, and like that's what I don't like. I think we need to reinstate more cabaret licenses that allow go-go like music to still flourish again. And I think that's when it kind of like really crushed a lot of the spirit, like going from like the late, in the early 2000s, like up to now. And then, we just need more advocates for local culture because DC always had his own music, own style. 996s, New Balance.
You could not front on DC.
Like Snorkels, Eddie Bauer, whatever. Like
even how y'all wore polo, because polo was such a standard for us in Brooklyn. And then when I went to Morgan, I used to see DC dudes rock their polo totally different. They had the polo shirts buttoned to the top.
More rugby.
More rugby. The socks pulled up with the good shorts. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so you guys have always been independent of prevailing trends. And I love that. That's what I love about this. That's what I love about go-go. That's why I wound up. I got real deep roots in the DMV area because I appreciate how independent DC folk are to the rest of the nation. Even New York. New York started off that way, but now New York follows whatever prevailing trends there are. But everything is homogenized
media,
now.
Right? It's because now everything is so much more accessible. I think DC was just voted like the hardest working city in the country, and I could see that. but at the same time, it's not a fashion city. So, you know, like I said, I just was like, look, I just want to be in the fashion industry after working at Woody's, after, you know, just working with the buyers and the.
Did you used to put your outfit together?
Oh my gosh, like at least a week in advance. Like, and then when I was little, I would have like I would draw little sketches of like, okay, I want to wear this way. And then like a huge, even to this day, if you saw my bedroom, you guys, in Fort Washington, you'd be like, it's just like you walked into a 90, like My So-Called Life or something.
Right.
You just walked into like some 90s show. I still have like all these collages on the wall with like Vogue and all these magazines, and all those things came to fruition.
I was going to ask you, were they really like vision boards? They were low-key vision boards.
Yeah, in hindsight, yes, absolutely. Oh my God, I need to put some new ones up.
Right. So you was in Howard when? What, in the 90s?
In the 90s, you know.
Cheney in the building, Morgan in the building, everything's HBCU.
Facts, all day, and we only get stronger every day. So
you was there in the 90s?
I was there in the mid-90s.
Mid to late 90s.
Yeah,
it was
and then
I
was a Jet Beauty of the Week. I got
you was a Jet Beauty of the
Week?
Yo, do you have it somewhere? Like, we gotta put that up.
Google it. I mean, it's the one with Michael Jordan on the cover, and he's like hugging the trophy like this.
Okay.
96 Bulls, baby.
You on it? You on it?
July.
How does one become a Jet Beauty of the Week?
Well, I was on campus at Howard University. And I was approached by this photographer. I think, was it James Bolden? I think that was his name. Anyways, and I was with my really gorgeous friend who actually would date like all these things. He's like, me? I'm like, yeah, okay. So of course I was super nervous, but I had like this leopard bikini on. But here's the funniest part of the story, right? I had this art class with this really cool, like artsy, kind of like Lisa Bonet girl named Insa, right? So she's like, oh yeah, I live in Watergate, and she drove a Range Rover truck to like school. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, she lit, right?
Yeah, she lit. So lo and behold, on the other side of my Jet picture, page 43, so I guess that's page 44, they always had the celebrity photo of the week. Who is it? It's Insa and her mom, Camille Cosby. And her this Bill Cosby daughter, my classmate all this time.
Wow.
So when I saw her, you know, on campus after that, I was like,
I know you with the range.
So we were locked in about that.
Let me ask you something. When did you realize you were beautiful? Like when, like what I mean, what I mean is, for women, a lot of times it's, you know, it's like am I, right? Like, am I beautiful? Like, how do I compare to the world? How does the world see me in comparison to others? Men don't have that problem.
Right.
Most men don't care if they're beautiful, right? Like, men don't think like that. But women are programmed, because even at 8, 9, 10 years old, men will tell you, oh, you're pretty. Yeah. You're beautiful. Right? And so it becomes a question. And so for you, now you're Beauty of the Week, and the reason why I'm asking you that is because when you told the story, you was like, well, I was with my homegirl and she was bad. Like, I don't even know why he picked me.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
didn't
not
mean
think...
to make it sound like that. And it's like, that's so funny. You should say that, because I was like, you know, you're so beautiful, right? And I'm like, but I don't want that to be the focus. It's not that I don't think that I'm...
You didn't
pretty,
want it to be the focus then?
I try to always, like, yeah, because, you know, people, like, you look... when you're a girl, like, guys are trying to screw you from like
but that's the thing.
Child. So it's like anything you can do to like keep the focus on your intelligence. Like, I'm a patent owner. You know what I mean? Like, I run a business. I've always been an entrepreneur. So it's not to like you know, negate my own beauty. You know, it's more like just the opposite. Like, I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on
I'm kind of just asking for back then, right? Because, I mean, obviously you're super accomplished now. But back then, at Howard University in the 90s, you're trying to move into... So you, even then, were you like interning at fashion? Like, tell me about that. Like, tell me about your matriculation into fashion.
So yeah, again, just starting my first job in high school was like working with the buyers in a department store and giving them advice on what to put in the store. We also modeled a lot of fashion shows. We did public appearances. Like, so that was I never worked at McDonald's. You know, like, it was just like boom.
So you've always kind of been in that space.
pretty much out the gate, it was an inspiration. But that experience, oh my God, I was so nervous, like during the actual shoot and whatnot. Right. But it was really cool. Like I got like a lot of the beauty of the week. Yeah, I got a lot of fan mail.
Of course you did.
Like I signed a couple autographs. Like, but did
people know?
Literally, they were all from like prison.
Did people know? Did people know?
And I didn't think my parents would find out. I'm so silly.
Why wouldn't your parents?
And we get jet. They're like all of my friends' parents, my parents' friends called. They were just like, you know, your daughter's in jet. And they talked about it on the radio.
Yeah, you didn't think that through. Shoot. You didn't think your parents, you're in jet.
Yeah, that was a bit of a blonde moment for me. But yeah.
Did it open doors?
Did it open doors? I always open doors for myself. So like the first film I worked on was actually a Spike Lee film. So it was like, this was like right as soon as I left DC, I went. It was Summer Sam.
Oh, you worked on Summer Sam?
Yeah, so Ruth Carter was my mentor. Awesome. She introduced me to film. Nope, that's not true. I worked on a film before that. G's Trippin' with this other costume designer, Jennifer Bryan, who did Breaking Bad. She's a badass too. That was in LA. So that was another film. But anyway, Summer Sam, Ruth Carter, the costume designer, obviously for Black Panther, 2-time
Ruth Carter,
Academy Award winner. Yeah, she put me on. So thank you, Ruth. Like, so for that, I did all like Adrian Brody. Like his character, his punk character. Yes. I pulled a lot of the stuff for John Leguizamo. They just reached out to me for this new film, the costume department, to do some shopping days. I wish, so I like having this very eclectic mix of things.
I love that you mentioned Summer Sam because that's one of my movies. Like, I love that movie, right? Yeah, and you're talking about Adrian Brody's character. And so what I want to know is, like, how...
I got a funny story.
Well, like, tell me about the process of pulling clothing for Brody, knowing that this is 1977 that you're pulling for. Where do you get these clothes from? And like, what's the process?
Well, a lot of it was vintage, right? So even before that, lots of research, right? So you're researching, you're doing these mood boards, the style, what were people wearing? Like, this is around the time that All the President's Men came out, Sex Pistols. So I drew a lot of inspiration from like the Sex Pistols, like Sid Vicious and stuff. They were British. So they would wear like very distressed jeans with the chains and the metal and like the safety pins.
I remember Brody's character rocking stuff like that, CBGBs.
Yeah, that Union Jack shirt. Right. I bought that. So, but the crazy part is like back then, like they said, they would wear like swastikas and stuff. Like they would do like crazy stuff. So I had spent a lot of time, like I had my own room right at Spike's production, like right there on South Elliott. Yeah. So just stressing away, and I made the pants, and I'm like, okay, so I gave them to Adrian, and he's like, I'm not wearing that swastika. And I was like, no, but this is what they wore. I'm really literally trying to convince this man to wear this. And I was just like, he's like, okay, so we took it off. But it was just like, just think about that. Like a couple years after that, he did The Pianist, and he won an Academy Award, for playing, Jewish pianist during the Holocaust. And here I am, like, where's the swastika? Like, that's so terrible.
But I mean, look, it's not really terrible because he's an actor, right? And so my question is, do you feel like you did as much research as the actors that were acting in it did? Because I would think that you would have to be an expert. When they come to you and you're placing clothes on them, you have to have a reason behind anything that you're giving them.
Absolutely.
So you did a lot of research on the time period, like, like you said, mentioned Sex Pistols and all these people that were popping back then.
Yep.
People don't know that that's part of the job,
a lot. I think even the other scene, like with Mira Sorvino, like, I mean, there's a lot of scenes, like all the disco scenes, and then they go to Plato's Retreat, and they go to Studio 54. I was an extra in that scene too. But it was a lot of fun though. Oh my gosh. So talk about, having wardrobe. I'm talking about halls and halls, right, Leroy? Because we shot, that was in the Bronx in Country Club. Yeah, Country Club in the Bronx.
So at the time, where are you living here?
At the time, I was living in Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
Hell's Kitchen, so like, I live in Harlem now, but it was a time I'd be like, this is going to sound weird. But like I get nosebleeds above 96th Street. My stomach dropped below Houston. Like I was on some BS.
Yeah, you sound
No,
wild.
it was funny. But I lived in Hell's Kitchen. I was on campus at FIT, and you know, my first apartment, I couldn't even get housing. Like all the girls from Long Island took all the housing from New Jersey and Long Island at FIT. So I was living like on this little apartment on 34th Street.
While you were doing Summer Sam.
Yeah, that's where I think I was at that time. I might have moved to Hell's Kitchen by then, in a 5-story walk up. Me and my Italian friend, my classmate Danielle. Hi Danielle. Yeah, those you really bringing back some memories, man. I should have prepared.
I'm telling you, you got to
took some
just
ginkgo
ride with me. I got you.
Before I came here.
So was Summer of Sam your first major project in New York?
Yes, that was definitely my first major film project.
Is your name in the credits?
Oh yeah, it's
Did
probably
you,
I forget the minute. I used to know like the
right.
exact time,
I was like how many times did you
one-
look at your name in the credits?
Probably a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because everything was just like happening so fast and in motion. I also worked on Exit Wounds with DMX and Steven Seagal.
But that's down the line, though, right?
That was 2000. That was 2001. That was like after that. And then all during this time, I'm still, you know, fashion editor, styling.
That's what I want to get to.
Assisting others.
So give me the timeline between Stress Magazine, Summer of Sam, and Exit Wounds. Stress was kind of like in the middle.
That's all was in like a 24 to 36 month period of time because I was editor at Stress and then I was editor at this Japanese hip hop magazine called Wolfen, which was like a Japanese version of The Source. They did a lot of like almost like, you know, like style guides. Like it was very almost technical. You know what I mean? Like this is how you wear this.
Right.
Like,
this
only
is the
wanted black
event,
and Latina models. So at that time, I'm doing all the casting, getting the clothes. But I would say the funnest shoot I ever did was with Stress, was with Capone and Noriega. So I dressed him like Capone and Noriega. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We gotta find that.
You gotta pull that one up. Stress magazine.
I remember that.
Yeah, I did that.
What
cover.
I was gonna ask you is, tell me the difference between pulling for a movie like Summer of Sam, which is a period piece, and then pulling for Stress Magazine, which is like trending and
budget. budgets, because the beautiful thing when I was a stylist, there weren't a ton of stylists. Like, you know, that's the difference between social media. Like, if you had to be like somebody had to like find you. It wasn't like social media, everybody could just find you. So with styling, it was all about your connections. So you had to know the Aniches, you had to know the Fubus, you know, you had to know, you know, the Aprils. You had to be able to pull from all of these guys, and it was all love. And you go to the showroom, it would be like this. That's what I'm saying. Like all these great flashbacks when I come here, guys. Like just going to the showrooms, pulling. Now when it's the features, okay, now we on Rodeo. Now we're in, you know, Hugo Boss. We're in Armani, and we have budgets. You know, the budgets. It's the budgets. You know what I mean? But also the big difference is with the editorials, you're returning the clothes by and large, and with the films, they're keeping them, and with advertising as well. Nobody takes more clothes than ad agencies. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Sachi.
So wait a minute.
Nobody take more clothes from the sheets than
who's
the ad
taking
people.
them? Who's from? Like, is it the models that's taking them? Is it the execs that's taking them? Who's taking the clothes from the ad?
I mean, you know, a little bit of both, right? Depending on, you know, how big the talent is, they're gonna get stuff.
Right.
You know, you roll those things into the budget because once it's bought, right? It's part of stock. That's how you end up with so many costume houses, right? And rental places because it's like
it's purchased and it's left over and it just becomes part of the thing.
Exactly, and it can be reusable for something else. That's why resale is such a huge industry and market, is because there's a lot of, you know.
How did you market yourself back then as a stylist?
I had a portfolio. So back then you had to have like a physical portfolio. You know, I remember going to Honey Magazine. And here's a cute little story. I was supposed to do a shoot with Khalees. And I had pulled all these like green pieces and, you know, we were going to shoot it in the Hemsley building, which is where, I don't know if you remember Urban Box Office back in the day, George Jackson's company.
It was George Jackson.
Yeah, so he had this startup like in the early 2000s. Like I was making like $30 an hour, like as an intern back back then. Like they had their launch party on Governor's Island. Anyway, so we were gonna do the shoot there. The 26, where the tunnel is, like 26.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Editorial doesn't pay that great. That's why I moved to tech. But anyways, yeah. So anyway, I went to Honey Magazine. They paid me for a kill fee, even though we didn't do the shoot. Like editorial, like it was a lot because they had advertising. Every single page in the magazine was sponsored by advertiser, right? So anyway, I go to pick up my check, running to Missy Elliott there, just like hanging out on the couch, and that was just like kind of like the vibe, like back then, just hip hop. I miss those days where like, we were very much wearing the clothes that were made for us by us, like literally. And now we're just back to Givenchy. So
this is the stress cover.
Oh wow, yeah, that's it.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I
sure.
still can't find that Ebony Beauty of the Week.
No, we gonna find that.
This
Did you have like a alternative name or something?
I know it's under Kimberly Gray. It's like July.
I remember this. You styled this?
Yes.
Amazing. Shout to Nori. Shout to Capone.
Hey guys.
Awesome. That's dope. So the environment of a stylist in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, early aughts, was a fun life, huh?
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun, guys. Like, we went to all the, I mean, first of all, I lived in Midtown, so all the clubs were right there. But even before I moved to New York, one of my best friends at the time, she was from Queens, from this girl, Erica, from Jamaica, from South Jamaica, Queens. And, like, we would go on the weekends and just take the bus and go to the tunnel on Sunday night.
Right.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
Right.
Those, like, that's what, like, I'm moving to New York.
Right.
Like, it's happening. This is where I want to be.
So every generation feels like they have that. We had that, right? The Tunnel, Club New York.
Yep.
Like,
I was there.
Right? We have that. I don't know if these young kids have that. Like, I don't even know where young kids party now. Like, if you're 22, where do you go to party? Like, where's the spot for you? So we were like in an incubator almost. So what I mean by that is everything significant about popular Black culture came out of our generation.
Right.
And so when we were moving and rocking and doing our thing, we were doing it amongst the pillars of what would come to be popular culture. So even you as a stylist back then, the template for how you became a stylist doesn't exist anymore.
It does not. And it's overwhelmingly different in that nothing is like really special. You know what I mean? Like back then it was like big clubs and like people interacted, right? Because we didn't have a device to distract us.
Correct.
So now, and I still go out, every time you're out, everybody's on their phone. Nobody's dancing. Like dry.
Nobody's even
like
hollering
dry.
at
The energy
people.
is dry. People be looking nervous. Like it's just not fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I have fun, but it's just it's quite different. But still you find your group. There's some silver linings. Yeah.
Tell me about the transition, because I know at some point you moved or matriculated or graduated into a higher level of, and I'm gonna tell you, it's still about. So I began talking about Peter Gay and design.
Yes.
So her and I had the conversation, and we were talking about how important design is to everything, and how like I'm a writer, and writing is design, right? Because if I'm writing a story, I'm designing it. So from start to finish, you read it, and it's a complete thought.
Yep.
Stylist, that's design, right? You look at a person, you pull clothes that's gonna not just effectuate a look based on a time period or a theme, but also look good on the person. Right? Design. So tell me how you move and when the light came on for you with regards to like, it's time for me to move into this space. Where were you? What were you doing? And tell me about that process.
Yeah, I think it first happened with my son, right? So I have a 13-year-old son, and me and his dad opened a 3D, 4D ultrasound center together, like a prenatal photographer. I've always been an entrepreneur. And then some type of tech.
Wait a minute, hold on, wait.
Oh, sorry.
Y'all opened up. All right, you can't stop. You got to slow down.
Yeah.
A 3D, 4D ultrasound.
Yeah.
center?
So you know, like when you're having a baby, you want to get these prenatal photographs, like
Correct.
keepsake photographs.
Correct.
So you know, I went to this place in the Bronx, and like, you know, they do the heartbeat, the teddy bears, the baby's heartbeat inside, like you know, so keepsake business. I was like, you know what, we should open something like this in Harlem. You know, and he was like,
You said that.
yeah.
And he was like, yo, bet.
Yeah. Another friend of mine, this girl Nicole, it was her suggestion, and then I suggest because he works in finance. So I was like, you know, why don't we open a business? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we opened the first ever 3D, 4D ultrasound, like prenatal photography service in Harlem, Tiny Portraits, and then he ended up opening another one in Midtown, but that was after we broke up. So that was a whole nother thing.
Right.
So that business
Right.
wasn't successful because I wasn't there. So
Right.
and it was my idea. So anywho, but
So
yeah.
Tiny Portraits.
Yeah. So I think that was the first. Don't break my phone, Leroy.
That's not true.
Oh, your phone. Well, don't break no phones. So from there, that was like the first matriculation. The last project I really did in the fashion industry was costume designing this. It was a language learning show called Wall Street English. So, but one of these larger companies, like Rosetta Stone or whatever, picked it up. But anyways, that was like 70 episodes. Shooting in Yonkers like every day for like almost a year.
What was the theme? It seems like it probably was straight up and down.
It was kind of like a Friends, like a foreign version of Friends. Like,
right.
you know, like one, you know,
Leroy's
like a
throwing your
couple
phone
Asian.
around. He's literally,
Like, yeah,
he's like throwing
like people
your shit.
learning different languages, and they live in this apartment complex and they work together. So it was a cute little story or whatever. I definitely did a lot of bonding, and that's how it is. Like when you're on set, it's like really intense for short periods of time. But anyways, at that point, I was like, I'm ready to do something new. And the opportunity arose with this Israeli fashion company called Fashaholic, and I was their chief creative officer. And one thing I will say, you know, I know it's a lot going on in this world. I'm not happy on either side of the equation. It's just all around. But they paid pretty well. You know what I mean? The only color they see is green. Like, no, joking. But it was a great experience.
It was a good experience.
Which led to me coming up with the concept for this patent that I have for virtual collaboration.
Wait, hold on. Don't speak.
I'm sorry.
So, what was it about your time as creative chief creative officer at the Israeli space that brought you into providing a patent? What was it?
Well, I guess I should tell you a little bit more about the company.
see?
So it was a fashion tech company. So basically, we partnered with brands and style bloggers to do content posts.
What year is this?
This is like 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So
blogging is established, but influences isn't
are
really
still
established.
budding. Yeah,
right.
still early on, right? So then, back then it was when they had their own websites.
Right.
Right, like we're
Blog
talking about
sites.
the Man Repeller, Brian Boy, like these are the ones that were making like buku bucks with like big name brands, you know, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, whatever. So what we did was affiliate marketing. So basically, partnering with luxury brands, and if sales are procured through that particular blogger's website, or now like through that influencer's
You get a piece.
page, you get a percentage of the sale. So the customer acquisition costs for things like that can be quite high, right? And I'm sure this is what the brands face every day. Is like, you want to do an ad with LeBron, it's going to cost LeBron dollars. You want to do an ad with a particular influencer, it's going to
that
cost.
much,
So we'll
right.
say Ruby Rose for hip hop or something like that.
Do you think she's
But,
really with Drewski?
I think it would be cute. It makes sense. It makes sense.
does.
That's
It
what's
does.
going
I like
on right
Ruby
now.
Rose, and I
Yeah,
like Drewski.
they cute or whatever.
They all right.
Yeah.
But I want to know, when did you get into the accounting of the thing? Because what you're talking now is different than stylist talk.
Yeah, because
Like,
I
you're
took a course.
talking
I took
numbers,
a course at
right?
Bank of America is a friend of the
Right.
of mine. So they actually have a program at Cornell, a women's entrepreneurship program, which I highly recommend. And I'm Kimmy in the City on IG. I'll share all of this data.
Right.
But yeah, so it's called it's Bank of America Institute at Cornell University. And
you
they have
took
a
that
women's leadership course. Yeah, so I took that just last year, actually. And, as a Black woman that runs a tech startup and less than 1% of us actually get funding, I want to understand why.
But back
and
up.
how I can do better.
So you took this course last year, but I'm talking about in 2014 when you're at this Israeli fashion tech. What drew you away from just clothing into the numbers, the nuts and bolts of the thing?
Well, at that point, again, I was chief creative officer, so I really wasn't as much, because, it wasn't my company. They brought me on board. But basically to develop, and that's where I really got into IP, right? Because everything, even up to that point, as a stylist, is being creative. And you said this earlier, I didn't get to touch on it, but it's kind of the same thing, tech and fashion. It's like you're a scientist no matter what. You're creating something that's never been done before. You're the architect of a particular design.
It's a design.
It's a design.
It's design.
It's a design.
Yeah, it's design.
So that's where it all birthed from. But with these guys, I think, it was an easy transition, right? Because it was still fashion, but it was tech. And I knew I wanted to transition into tech because we were creating these kind of like fashion Facebook, I would call it, interfaces to connect these bloggers, and they would post and create these little, like style boards with the clothes. And if somebody taps on the clothes and buys that piece, they would be able to purchase it. But it was gamified too. Honestly, it could come back now, for real. Now that I'm thinking about it. Like, it might even be more. You know what? Let me shut up.
Right. You about to give her ideas, right? So, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. So, this is Israeli fashion tech company. The fashion that they were kind of pushing, was it proprietary or was it?
Well, the interface was proprietary, and then that's why I couldn't stay with them, because it's like you can never sell yourself short and never do anything for free. Like you have to get something out of it, because people will take advantage. Like, so they want
I don't
me
want
to
that to
sign
go over
off my
people's
IP.
heads. Never do anything for free.
Yeah, but there's
that
levels.
Doesn't
to that.
mean you have to get money from everything.
Yeah.
But always be quid pro quo.
Yeah.
Always get something to give.
Reciprocal relationships
Absolutely.
is what relationships. I mean, I would imagine marriage. Professionally, anybody I hire, anyone I partner with, anyone I take money from, it has to be reciprocal. Like, I don't want to even have anyone invest in me that I'm not 100% confident in.
Right.
And that I know I can make money for, right? And it's like sometimes, and I'm going to say this for entrepreneurs, sometimes you have to fire your customers, because if it's costing you more money to run your business and work with certain people, you got to find other people, because you have to be able to scale. And one other thing is, like, don't iterate just off one person's advice. Like, data trumps opinions. I'm gonna say it again. Data trumps opinion. Okay.
And that's real.
Yeah. So I want to be consistent with providing value and feeling valued, no matter what I do.
Tell me about what led up to the patent.
So, after working with Fashionaholic and just really, getting enthralled in social media like most other people, I think I used to spend a lot of time on posts. Now it feels like work. It used to be like fun, like, hey guys, I want to share something special. And then, I don't know when.
What was your social media
feeling
engine
like
of
work.
choice? What was it? Twitter? Was it IG? Was it Facebook? Was it Snap?
Definitely Instagram. I've never been much of a Snapchat girl, or Twitter. Like, 'cause I have to say something clever every 5 seconds. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Look at where I went today.
Right.
Nah.
So it's IG.
Yeah, I would definitely say IG. And like sometimes you post for others, sometimes you post for yourself.
It's always been Kimmy in the city, or has
Always
it been
been Kimmy in the city. Yeah. But you know, I'm pretty low key. You know, it's I've always been like it's a quality over quantity. Because when we figure out a way for everyone to monetize each individual follower, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do with X, right? Because that would be, you know, the goal with your boy, with Elon.
Why you say he was my boy?
I'm just, you know, to you know, I knew that would be a good jab.
But look, so I've always spoken about the fact that there's intrinsic value
Yes.
in social media work,
Yes.
right? And it doesn't necessarily have to come from ad revenue or from content revenue. But if you can draw people's attention to who you are and your brand,
Yes.
and if you can begin to look at your social media pages not as personal pages, but as brand pages,
Yes.
then you can leverage that attention in the real world. And I've done pretty well in that framework. Specifically since pandemic, but I've done pretty well over the last few years in that framework.
Yes.
Talk to me about your perception of social media and its ability to be monetized, not just from a follower standpoint or a content standpoint, but in real life.
That's the best
data.
question
You talked about
anybody
data.
could ask. And I always say brand yourself. Like I wrote a Medium article called "The Brands Are Watching." The brands are watching, and it's like a picture of me at the Philip Plein show, which was at the Hammer Scene like some years back. But if Gucci don't come to Harlem and get influence from Dapper Dan and from the streets, and it's just because remember I worked with all of these brands, like I mean all like, you know, all the diamonds on the set, security, like it's just like you name it, and the way we fawn after these brands for free, gotta stop. Gotta stop, right? Because you gotta brand yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the brands come to you. But the only way they can find you is if they're able to reach you. And they can't reach you the way these interfaces are set up now, right? Because right now with Instagram, it's just like little boxes. I can't even get out my box. And the way it's set up now, people just looking at their own darn content. They're not even looking at other people.
So Instagram has instituted a new way to use the timeline where for the first time in a long time, they show you your own shit.
I'm telling you, it's bad.
I don't want to see
guys.
my own shit.
It's bad out here.
Yeah, it's really, they're really wilding right now.
I didn't notice that. I was wondering why.
They show you your own shit now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see my shit.
The data is showing that, you know what, these people are just posting for themselves, right? And that should be a fear for brands. Especially with TikTok and all these guys. You know, maybe out the door or switching up.
I will go back to my timeline and look through because, you know, it's like looking at your own pictures.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to be reminded of
Guilty.
certain things, you know,
Guilty.
like you're laughing at just from, it's like a reminder, like looking through a photo album.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
But I don't want to see, like when I go to my timeline, I want to see what other people are doing.
Right.
When I want to look through my photo album, I'll go directly to my thing.
There's a difference. Certain people use social media from a purely consumer standpoint. So they post pictures they like, they want to look at the pictures they like, and they want to spend all their time liking other people's pictures. Going down rabbit holes. Oh, well, Kaisha's cute. Let me go down 55 weeks to see what Kaisha posted, right? But then there's people like us that really use it from a market research standpoint. I don't like a lot of people's stuff. What I do is I look at what contemporaries are doing. And I gather you may do the same thing. For me, it's community stuff. So I want to see what other people in community are doing, where they're at, political clubs, elected officials.
Connect with your group.
Right.
Right.
I look to connect with my group.
Yeah, so that algorithm doesn't exist. Right.
They took it away.
That's the problem. Right? Because even, and I know why they took it away, but remember before you could see who your friends, well, I was for the other one, like you could see who follows and who liked on IG, and I guess it was messing up relationships.
That's what it was.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it was.
But that was helpful because like, oh, this person liked that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but the bottom line is, and I mentioned this before off camera, is like, the place where I'm right now, it's like watching the news. It's like all these opinions, but it's a one-sided conversation, right? So we need more interfaces that are video responsive. I can't respond on Instagram to a post. Can't respond with a video. Can't respond with a video on Facebook to a post. So what led to the patent to creating, you know, a data data prompting technology that shares text to the video capture screen was that, right? And that's called action command messaging. So
action command messaging. Okay.
ACM.
Okay.
So that's the acronym ACM. So ACM technology. Again, so any type of text, I'm a brand. You know, what's your favorite Air Max sneaker? Is it the 95?
The 95.
All right, say less. Of course, duh. But like, you know, so wow, imagine being able to bond with everybody else that loves that Air Max 95, the gray with that nice neon green. I remember.
I love that.
You know?
Yeah.
So like that alone, we just don't have an interface for that. So that's what, you know, my company, UVI, which stands for Universal Video Instructional Interface, right, allows you to do, is to create interactive video surveys where you can respond and we can all connect with AI, allowing us to say, hey, all these people like Air Max 95s. You know what I mean? And they're in the Northeast. And this one's in LA. And like just based on simple data points, you can connect, you know? And brands will pay for that.
I want you to yeah, absolutely. So, I want you to tell people how important data is because I think that
it's so important. People
really don't understand that that's what the game is.
It's
the
essential.
Game is data.
Like that's the new oil. That's like gold.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're on the cusp of a new, like it's an industrial revolution. This is like a technology revolution because you see everyone's working from home. You know, the mediums for communication are expanding post-COVID, right? And just quick background leading up to, you know, us being a company that creates interactive surveys for colleges and universities, for the city of New York, for government agencies, and now partnering with these two, you know, public sectors to work with private sector. So if I'm a college student and I need some extra bucks and I can give Nike some feedback and earn some rewards or get some cash back, that's an opportunity. So going back to what we were saying about reciprocal relationships, what our mission is to create reciprocal relationships between brands and consumers. By an exchange for your brand, your feedback, your data, you get a reward. You're not just posting for a like or a follow or review, you're actually getting something that can help your life. And then we're moving towards a influencer economy, frankly, you know, where...
Elaborate on that.
Yeah, so from the perspective of advertising, you know, influencers, for every dollar of advertising, you can Google this, spends on an influencer is $6.50 for an advertiser. Right.
So their return on that $1 investment is $6.50.
Yes, and most of that is done through social media.
I talked to my daughter just today about the power of advertising and influencers, and I'm gonna tell you the story.
Please.
You ever heard of Prime? You heard of Prime?
Like the steakhouse?
Prime, no, like the Gator, like the drink. There's a drink called Prime. It's like a high, like a Gatorade almost.
Okay.
Right? So what Prime did, which is ingenious, is all of the YouTube influencers that children watch, the Royalty Family, the B Squad, the Rush Squad, all these YouTube influencers that are kid-based, Prime threw money into the YouTube influencers. So every one of these influencers have Prime in their videos.
Wow.
So now my son is 6 years old, he goes to the store, he sees Prime, I want Prime.
Lifetime customer value. And that is what they're willing to spend, brands.
It's ingenious.
It's ingenious because brands are spending $139 per human, per capita per year, customer acquisition. So that's a high CAC.
Prime does not have commercials.
Yeah.
Prime does not put their shit on billboards. Prime spends money in the YouTube influencer space.
It's inception. My son is stuck. He has a YouTube channel too. Stick God. It's guys, we have to address this now. You know what I mean? This is where the opportunity is. This is where we're going, whether it's me or people like me. But I will say, to get this patent, I had to defeat a Google, patent, right? Like an office action. So, when you file, I had to file 3 times to get this patent. It's very hard to get a virtual collaboration patent. And the first black woman to get a patent was actually out of DC. Yeah, and it was for a dough roller.
Yeah. Look at you, creating legacies. Look at you,
right,
popping.
So that was pretty quiet. I know we're
Shout
done
out
on
to
time.
Leroy for...
Yeah, can we get Leroy? Come say
This
hi,
is the
Leroy.
guy.
No. For the picture.
Oh, bring the picture. We gotta see the beauty of the week.
As Jet Beauty of the Week.
We gotta see the Jet Beauty of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you see it?
You guys.
It's so
Hey,
fabulous.
You guys.
Leroy definitely.
Leroy had that picture already.
He already had the picture. Let me see. Yo, I think I
Wow.
remember you. Yo, I remember you. You all right? You ain't all right. Look, but you got it's
See,
you got
that's
the
like,
cheetah.
what is he talking about?
You got the cheetah. You
Yo.
got the leopard.
You know the vibes.
Yo, that's crazy. Look at you.
Yes.
I love it.
I love
Aw,
that.
this
That's
is so
amazing.
dope. Yay.
That's amazing.
I know, right? We got a Jet
Wow.
Beauty of the Week in the building.
Hey.
Where are you headed with this tech?
Oh
Like,
man,
what's your
to
goal?
the moon. But I think most importantly is to just really commercialize the technology, because I think it's very agnostic, right? Like being able to get feedback by sharing a text to the video capture screen, like, hey, how was your appointment today? Or show me your hurt elbow. Or NYCHA housing, okay, send a video of the broken sink. It's a very simple and easy way and accessible way, because it's not even, you don't even download it. Ours is a web app. And so the company is Uvi, and our survey app is called InSync. So that's INS Inc. So
what is ink? INC.
Yeah, like just so you remember. Not like the band. But yeah, just we're not IBM, but I think we have the capability to provide value for the future with this data prompting technology.
How many employees?
Which is enhanced with AI. So 4 altogether. So we're a pretty small team. We're actually about to do a seed raise very, very soon. We're in a fellowship with Chloe Capital right now and New York Economic Development Corp, which is, their mission is really creating more public-private partnerships with the city. They're totally rebuilding downtown, the Battery Park, because, water's rising. So there's just a lot of opportunities. Like, this is New York. Who's more interesting than New Yorkers? 2.7 million New Yorkers right now are living below the federal poverty line.
Absolutely.
Right? So if I'm on the subway, if you're on the subway and you want to scan a QR code and be able to get some rewards for your feedback, like you could be watching something for safer street crossings from the Department of Transportation, sponsored by Kaiser Permanente.
I want to ask you about
simple.
the potential decentralization of social media, and by that I mean everything now goes through the big 4 or the big 3, right? It's X, it's Facebook, it's IG, TikTok, but we know TikTok is on its way out. But what you're talking about, because straight up and down, corporations want the main line fee. They almost want the hit directly from the person.
It's an election year. I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't really speak too crazy on this right now, but I will say that I was invited to a dinner early this year, and I got to chat with Hakeem Jeffries, you know, who's obviously going to becoming the Speaker of the House.
If Biden wins.
If, you know, during the circuit. So it's an election year. So nobody's going to be spending more money to capture customer data than political candidates. So, no, I got it.
A Style Quest wants to ask, what advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh, that is such an amazing question. I don't have really too many regrets, but I would say build a team. You can't do it all by yourself. I would say my biggest regret, or I wouldn't even say regret, but advice that I would give would be to build a team. Like, cause you can't do it. And as you can see, I do a lot of different things, but I don't care like who that person is. Like, if you have a good team, you could be the slowest person in the room. You want to be the slowest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, it's time to switch rooms.
You're in the wrong room. Right.
You know, you need to go to the bigger room, you know? So I would say don't be like the captain of a teepee or the of the igloo or something.
The
like
king
really,
of the sink. That's what I call
the king
it.
of the sink.
Yeah, you don't want to be king of the sink.
King of the sink. You know what I mean? Like, get outside your box and get help. And that'll be a good verification of whatever you're trying to do. If you can get people to follow you and listen to you and want to see you guys all together win.
Tell me about the playing field you're in now as a black woman. Is there a lot of black women? Is there a lot of black men? Is there a lot of black folk in this data mining? Is this data mining what you're doing? Is that a fair? Is that a fair?
I'll speak from the perspective of being a MWBE certified vendor. Right. So a minority, black-owned business, city and state certified. That took like 2 years. But I'll speak from that perspective. It's not easy. Well, I think for a number of reasons, like we don't have as many resources as larger organizations, right. And traditionally, you know, we just don't get bigger contracts, right? Or the contracts that are given, at least for somebody like me, I could be competing with like Microsoft, you know, for contract opportunities. But what's important, again, to what I just said, is like you have to partner. Partnerships are key. You know what I mean? When you're a small fry, you have to partner, and like the resources that you don't have, like, so for us, it's like all about integrating to CRM. Because with all of this data, when people are answering all these questions, we want to give them rewards. That has to be tethered to a Salesforce, right? Or Microsoft 365, right? Or whatever the database is. You have to, you know, enable solutions, right? So it's not easy, but I will say I've been very, very blessed and lucky to be in a lot of spaces with a lot of people that are major decision makers. And as an entrepreneur, you just have to, like, you can't give up. Like, you have to just be very proactive, you know? You have to be extremely proactive and strategic to accomplish your goals.
Ready.
And when they are accomplished, they're usually even tenfold.
Bigger than.
Yeah.
And that's always the case.
Also, like, we definitely have to give ourselves grace. A lot of us are, like, first generation business owners. You know,
Facts.
We don't have the mentors that others have. So
yeah, and also we're also building out something that comes from our minds, right? And so, like, if you're overwhelmed, that's fine. Like, you should be overwhelmed. You're thinking about a major thing, and you're trying to scale it up, and you don't have the people power, the labor, the everything to kind of make you feel comfortable. So you should feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you're comparing yourself to like a Microsoft.
Exactly.
Like,
at the same time.
You know?
Well, yes and no, right? Because in a sense, ignorance is bliss. Right. You know, had I known things were going to be this hard, or you have to jump through so many hoops, would I have done it? Probably still, yeah. But I think because I'm from PG County, because I was oblivious to like how these things are, only now understanding in hindsight, you know, I was able to keep going this far, and people respect that.
I was
Like,
getting ready
people,
to say, that's
like,
the
they're like,
beauty.
girl, I'm rooting for you. Like, you know, you don't.
And that tenacity
need a whole
will
lot
get you into spaces
people.
that
need
you won't even realize. Like tenacity
Absolutely.
and like drive and like ambition is more important than talent and intelligence.
Yep.
Like your ambition, your willingness to do what others won't do to obtain what others won't obtain. That's the shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the drive, and that's why it comes really from purpose.
Right.
Being the daughter of 2 DC public school principals. My dad's principal at Anacostia.
When did Anacostia,
Yeah,
that's hard body right there.
Anacostia.
When did your parents know that you were a
Yes.
success?
I mean, I guess at our graduation my graduation at FIT,
Right.
and it was at Rockefeller Center,
Right.
and Bill Cosby was our speaker.
You've been connected to the cause for years.
He's stick around. He's
right.
stick around.
That's the universe.
Yeah, I guess so. But that was the role model, you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, life changes, and you just have to, like, evolve, you know? And I see that as, like, opportunity to excel. Like, all these experiences, I feel like everything I've done, it just came to this point to do what I'm doing right now.
Where you at now? Where do you live now?
So I'm in Harlem.
That's right. You're in Harlem.
Yes.
Right.
And still,
How's
you know.
How's your boy? How's your son? He's thriving.
Oh, he's amazing. Like, he was giving me some advice on one of our decks today.
better listen.
I was, because he's like that YouTube channel. He already has, like
Right.
I say, his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
My
saying.
daughter's
like,
fiending for you. Every
How
time
old
she
is
does a
she?
video, she's 8.
Uh,
Every time she does a video
she
on her
really
phone,
does.
she goes, "Hey, like my channel, subscribe to me." She doesn't have a channel.
Wow.
You don't have a channel, Ma. Why are you telling people to like and subscribe to your channel
So
and every video that you do?
Oh my
Model
God.
Cruise Control has a question. Where can tech entrepreneurs go to develop their startups or acquire resources?
Good question.
Great question. So this coming month is Black Women Talk Tech, which is gonna be actually out here in Brooklyn from May 16th to May 18th, and I will be speaking on a panel about AI and how AI can be transformative to improving your successes, you know, professionally. It could be your personal assistant. It can help you come up with business ideas, at least give some initial guidance. And that's called Roadmap to Billions. Roadmap to Billions, Black Women Talk Tech, and that's May 16th to May 18th.
How do you feel
so you
about
can go on
AI?
the website.
Tell me your thoughts.
I mean, AI really changed my life. Like, when we started Uvi, we were selling to, my first customer was Medgar Evers College. Shout out to Dean Roll.
Okay.
School of Business.
Okay.
Retired. I think she was the first woman to get a economics doctorate from Howard. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so we, during COVID, when everybody was out, we, you know, saw an 80% increase in student engagement using our platform, which was a downloadable app. So as they're doing Zoom and like their different course studies, they can actually still talk to each other, right, with videos, and they could all see each other's videos and texts and everything, responses. But AI for me, because I have a platform that's video surveys, you may not have time to watch videos. If you get 1,000 videos, you're not gonna have time to watch all those videos. You're gonna wanna cherry pick the best videos to identify people that could be brand new, or whatever the point of the activation is, right? The campaign. But it helps us because you get transcription, you get to have tagged keywords, right? So like we were talking before about the Nike example, you could get more specific information, because right now surveys are like, they're not user-centric, right? It's like, nobody wants to fill out a survey because it's not about you, it's about whoever the survey is for, right? So having more short answer responses that really, and we use AI to even craft the questions, to understand like what is the order of questions you would put together to get, you know, to evoke why you love this product, or why you really, why are you even here? You know, why do people go and buy Chanel to post it on Instagram? Like there's something like, that's market research 101, right? So my thing is like, let's move away from cookies, which are just gonna just track and surreptitiously follow you around the internet. When you can, you know, if you see somebody click on something, hey, what do you love about this product? Take this video survey and you get rewards, right? And then you're building a lifetime customer value, ideally. But yeah.
And it's revolutionary because obviously, I mean, without question, the rewards are way less valuable than the data.
It's always the data.
It's always
and that's
the
where
data.
the AI comes in, because the AI can say, hey, this particular user wants to open an account at Bank of America. This particular user is interested in financial literacy, and this is a probe from, you know, 100 Black professionals that are HBCU grads, like Black Ivy, you know. So
I ask everybody that sits in this chair the same question: are you happy now?
I'm happy. I'm happy. Being here makes me happy.
Being here makes you happy?
Being here makes me happy. Being with my friends makes me happy. I'm happy by and large, but I also feel like I have so much to do. And it's like, but you know, one thing about me, like my IG is Kimmy in the city. So like you go on my page, you'll always see me out. And it's like, that's what I do. Like I want to enjoy life, because we just don't know, like, you know what I mean? I want to enjoy life, but I really want to give back, because I've had a lot of great experiences. I know a lot of amazing people. And by and large, you know, we all want the same things. So I want to create a mechanism for us to be able to communicate that more and more often.
Awesome.
So.
What we got on the question tip, Kai?
I had asked them.
Because if I keep drinking this, I'm going to be drunk by the
Yeah,
end
I
of
think
this
we're
bottle.
good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Cal Spencer was like, "Wait, y'all have wine?" He's like,
Cal, what's up, man?
I don't know, he's still here, but
Bro.
you're pouring it so like,
Yeah, salud. He know. Cal was
Chris
here.
in the
Come back.
building. We
He
have
wants to come.
educators in
He
the house
said
as
we
well.
didn't have wine when that was happening.
Cal, you might be right. We were still in our inception. We
Right.
ain't get. We wasn't
yeah,
in
he's
our
like,
comfort
don't be
space.
messing nobody up.
Yeah, we wasn't in our comfort
Uh-oh.
space, Cal. You right. We wasn't in our comfort. You come back and we gonna have wine without question.
Oh, he feeling some type of way.
Yeah, he's feeling some
Oh,
type of way. That's my
no.
brother
He
though.
wants
Good,
to come back.
good, good salt of the earth dude, man. In fact, shout out to Keith and Phil and Kenny the Combine. They're in Kenya right now.
Wow, that's what we need to be.
Yeah, I'm in Kenya right now, playing golf. Like
Well, they'll be back because Saturday they're doing a
for Phil, they're honored. Well, no, that's not until
May.
Right.
They're doing a clothing drive for the immigrants.
Yeah, well, they do that on a regular basis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we actually do a pantry, so I work with them to do a food pantry at Restoration for the migrants.
Okay. And also, tell them about Saturday.
Yeah, hello. I saw the
So
post.
on Saturday,
At 4
we
p.m.
have the most amazing karaoke
Yes.
event. It's more than karaoke though.
It's
It's
way
lifestyle.
more.
You come together, it's fellowship. But we do karaoke. It's gonna be in Building 92, right? Because
Yep,
it's not in
Building
this space.
92, it's
Oh,
not
I know.
here.
Is that New
It's gonna
Lab is
be.
over there?
It's gonna be in Building 92.
It's where we were
Or the other time? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Okay.
We're going to have a goddamn ball.
Yes.
Our host, Kaisha's my manager. She manages the whole thing. And we make it happen. So if you want to sing a song, you got a tune in your heart that you want to share. Or if you just want to drink and connect with some awesome people, you coming?
I might gotta pull up.
You got
You have to pull up.
There's
Yeah.
no
It's a
question.
great
Yeah.
time.
There's no
Yeah.
question. How's the Eventbrite? Is it still up or we
yeah,
sold
it's
out?
still up. The Eventbrite is there. Check
Eventbrite
it
is
out.
still up.
That. We'll get that.
The
We
Eventbrite is
have-
still up.
The beauty of 92 is that there's an outdoor space, so it's 420.
It's 420 friendly. I know 420 was last Saturday, but this is 427. It's 427 friendly.
Yeah, 427 friendly. so you can
427.
Step outside and
Yeah, we're gonna have an amazing time. I love our karaoke's. Our karaoke events are so phenomenal,
They are.
and it ain't really about the karaoke. It's really about who comes and the fact that we connect with people, and we kind of are able to. Hip Hop Closet is able to kind of be malleable. So it is whatever you need it to be in the moment.
Facts.
It could be in that
Facts.
moment, right? So if you want to sing, by all means, come to karaoke. But if you want to just chill and hang out and be,
If you want to do trivia, my girls are trivia for us. We've done a couple of activations with
is
them.
this the
They're out of
Gotti?
Brooklyn.
Is this the Gotti girls? Is the Gotti? This is different.
No,
crew?
this is Deidre and Shakira. But they're out of Brooklyn. They just got into all the Barnes and Nobles, and it's called
What's the
Trivia for
name of
Us.
it?
Trivia for Us, and it's a black trivia game. Very, very, very
I think
cool.
I know
I'm gonna
Deidre.
connect you.
Yeah, I think I know
They,
Deidre. I
I
think
brought
Deidre
her
has
by the
hollered at
restaurant
me.
too.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah, y'all
that.
should have them on the show, maybe.
Well,
Or
reach
whatever.
out if you're watching.
Yeah.
Holla.
Yeah,
I think
we're
I
going
know
to
Deidre,
Essence
though.
Fest, 30th anniversary Essence Fest coming up for them too. So it's just a good network, you know. It's just like, again, there's really only two players in the room. It's the brands and the consumers, or the buyers and the sellers.
Yeah.
Whatever industry,
Yeah.
a lot of the in between is marketing, it's advertising. So what we're focused on is through interactive QR codes, simple web links, is connecting the buyers and the sellers. You know, in places where they be at. On the train.
I love that.
You know what I mean? But doing a revenue share with the colleges, with the city, you know. So we're, you know, just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I love
More
it.
to come.
I love it.
Thank you, guys.
There's something beguiling about your work. It's like, stay tuned, because I'm really about to smash y'all already. Like, I can't tell you too much. I just need you to stay tuned.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
And so we're gonna stay tuned. I'm gonna stay tuned.
Yes.
We love it.
Yeah.
Hip Hop Closet. We did it. Oh, it's perfect. It's 8:16.
Yeah.
It's perfect time. Leroy, you good? You want to say anything to people though?
Shout out to the people. Just tell them who you are, where you be.
They know Leroy. If they saw his face, like they like, yo, who's the? If they saw him, they know
that's
him.
Mr. New York one.
Right. Who you be with? You good?
Peace in the Middle East.
Amen.
That's what we hope for.
Let's all get along.
That's what we hope for. All right.
Shout out to Kia. She hung in there till the end.
Somebody's auntie's in the building.
Hey,
Yeah, we're gonna have a
that's
ball
for
Saturday.
the-
We got
shout
a
out
field
to the
trip.
aunties.
We got a field trip on Friday, right?
Yes. Yeah.
275.
275 Park.
275 Park. Shout to
yeah.
Ray Deshawn on Friday, and then Saturday is karaoke.
Yes.
I gotta
Saturday.
run a half marathon.
Next
on
week.
Sunday.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, Kia's asking about Sneaker Wars. Okay.
Oh,
So
let's
who
go
won?
ahead and do it. Let's go
Show.
ahead and do
Now
it.
come on. There's no way I could lose.
These are nice. I'm
Nah,
not
get
even
that
in the
up, though.
front.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Put yours up.
Come
though.
on now. Come
These
on
are
now.
mine. These are
You know
mine.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, yeah.
I'll
Go
put a
ahead,
little heel
Kimmy.
in
What,
there.
what do you think, Kimmy? Who's
Yeah,
the
you
winner?
can- gotta
Well,
vote,
you know
Kimmy.
what? I'm not gonna lie. Being as though I live in Harlem, I gotta go with the
And I
pink.
love the pink.
I
I'm
gotta go
gonna
with the
give it
pink,
to you
Mom.
today.
Kai,
Even
I
though
bought-
the
and
gold,
I bought these.
I probably should have had yours for this outfit, but yeah,
Marlon won.
Kai, I bought these because of the pink
it's
ones
not
that
a
you
win.
have.
It's not a loss.
Which ones I have?
You have the ones. Remember you pulled them out? They like hearts or some shit on them.
Oh yes, my pink ones. Yeah,
Yes,
they're
I
flowers.
bought these when I
Flowers.
saw them. I was like, oh, them
Those
shits is
are
like
really
Kai's.
good. Those are really good. I don't
All
even
right.
have them in the back.
Right. You can pull out. You can pull out the back. All right, man. You know it's always love with y'all, man.
R.I.P. to Mr. C. We
Yeah,
haven't
we
done
never
the
even-
show since.
Yeah, we haven't.
Since then, so
We haven't,
definitely
man.
wanna
Rest in peace to Mr. C.
send-
Mr. C
send
was a
him
friend.
Some love.
He was someone who he never said no to whatever we asked of him. We worked with Mr. C on and off for the last half dozen years, maybe. It's a tragedy for hip hop, but it's a tragedy for Brooklyn, because what people don't really understand is that Mr. C really was down for community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got I got the information for his services. His services are going to be at the Brooklyn Paramount Theater on Tuesday. Yeah, show it.
April 30th.
April 30th. And it was really a sobering loss.
Yeah.
I love C. C was an amazing dude. He used to scream on me a lot about a lot of
Really?
different shit.
About what? That's such
Just-
an because
so-
he has
so
that.
me
That's
and
where
C-
the documentary. I feel like wasn't he just doing a documentary though?
I don't know.
I feel
Yeah.
like I was at the House of Cannabis and like they were shooting something. No.
So C was very. See, the thing about C that I don't think people understand is that C looked at every part of the game. He wasn't just a DJ. He would look at how you presented, how you marketed, the promotion behind it, the lead time. He would be like, Marlon, you need more time. You can't do this in 3 weeks. You need more time. So C was like a macro level, Like it reminds me kind of like of you. Like even though
I was
you were
like,
in,
that sounds like
right,
me.
even though you were in fashion, you kind of your mind worked the whole
Very
thing.
logistic.
Right,
Yeah.
the whole logistics.
driven.
That was C. C was a very logistic guy, and so I do a lot of hosting, a lot of MC, and a lot of on the mic stuff. And he would be very critical of me, like, "Yo, you curse too much. You shouldn't have said that there. You need to say that." But almost like a producer, not like someone who like. You know, there's certain people that give you advice that they can't, they haven't afforded themselves the opportunity or the authority to give you advice, right? So you don't listen to that. But C is an authority on, because from a holistic standpoint, he's been at every touch point of the culture. There wasn't a touch point of the culture that C didn't stand in. And so when
That's
he said
very
things
true.
to me, I would listen.
Yeah.
And I would laugh with him, and he just was a very good guy to me, man. I love C, and I miss him. And we're gonna, so I can't really blow it up yet, but just trust this summer in Brooklyn, we're gonna do something amazing for Mr. C. It's already in the works. We're gonna do something amazing for him.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
All right.
So, see y'all Saturday at 4 p.m. Building 92.
Building 92 karaoke.
Come ready with your songs on deck.
On decky.
All right.
We
Thanks
love y'all.
for joining.
Later.
Love
Hip Hop
you. Peace.
Closet.